Thanks for coming in. Thanks for Sound City. And Lord, thank you for mercy. In Jesus' name, amen. So much is going on, I don't really know where to start. But I do have one important thing, and that is this article that's about not blaming the eater. I'm not gonna get too much into it until you put some insight or input in on this. This "Don't Blame the Eater" by David Zinczenko, the New York Times, November 23rd, 2002. And this is because, as well as we thinking about what's going on in the world, and as well how the things that are going on affect big places, small places, big towns, big cities, small cities, farther away from others cities where the story originally took place. Um, and as well as places, people, how does it affect African Americans? How does it affect Caucasians? How does it affect Spanish? How does it affect European? It goes on and on and on and on, because that's what we do as people in this society. And that's the one reason too I'm going to just read this article and withhold my view, if you will, until I think actually the coast is clear. I'm gonna be honest. So just listen to this, and thanks once again for being here. Thanks for Sound City and all of our supporters, all of our fans, everyone that tunes in, and for everyone that emails me a question to raise in the discussion segment that I do film and post online. Listen to this. If ever there were a newspaper headline custom made for Jay Leno's monologue, this was it. Kids taking on McDonald's this week, suing the company for making them fat. Isn't that like middle-aged men suing Porsche for making them get speeding tickets? Whatever happened to personal responsibility? I tend to sympathize with these portly fast food patrons, though. Maybe that's because I used to be one of them. I grew up as a typical mid-1980s latchy kid. My parents were split up, my dad off trying to rebuild his life, my mom working long hours to make the monthly bills. Lunch and dinner for me was a daily choice between McDonald's, Taco Bell, Kentucky Fried Chicken, or Pizza Hut. Then, as now, these were the only available options for an American kid to get an affordable meal. By age 15, I had packed 212 pounds of torpid teenage tallow on my once lanky 5'10" frame. Then I got lucky. I went to college, joined the Navy Reserves, and got involved with the health magazine. I learned how to manage my diet. But most of the teenagers who live, as I once did, on a fast food diet won't turn their lives around. They've crossed under the golden arches to a likely fate of lifetime obesity. And the problem isn't just theirs, it's all of ours. Before 1994, diabetes in children was generally caused by a genetic disorder. Only about 5% of childhood cases were obesity related or type 2 diabetes. Today, according to the National Institutes of Health, type 2 diabetes accounts for at least 30% of all new childhood cases of diabetes in this country. Not surprisingly, money spent to treat diabetes has skyrocketed too. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimate that diabetes accounted for $2.6 billion in healthcare costs in 1969. Today's number is an unbelievable $100 billion a year. Shouldn't we know better than to eat 2 meals a day in fast food restaurants? That's one argument, but where exactly are consumers, particularly teenagers, supposed to find alternatives? Drive down any thoroughfare in America, and I guarantee you'll see one of our country's more than 13,000 McDonald's restaurants. Now, drive back up the block and try to find some place to buy a grapefruit. Complicating the lack of alternatives is the lack of information about what exactly we're consuming. There are no calorie information charts on fast food packaging the way there are on grocery items. Advertisements don't carry warning labels the way tobacco ads do. Prepared foods aren't covered under Food and Drug Administration labeling laws. Some fast food purveyors will provide calorie information on request, but even that can be hard to understand. For example, one company's website lists its chicken salad as containing 150 calories. The almonds and noodles that come with it, an additional 190 calories, are listed separately. Add a serving of the 280 calorie dressing, and you've got a healthy lunch alternative that comes in at 620 calories. But that's not all. Read the small print on the back of the dressing packet, and you'll realize it actually contains 2.5 servings. If you pour what you've been served, you're suddenly up around 1,040 calories, which is half of the government's recommended daily calorie intake. And that doesn't take into account that 450 calorie supersized Coke. Make fun, if you will, of these kids launching lawsuits against the fast food industry, but don't be surprised if you're the next plaintiff. As with the tobacco industry, it may be only a matter of time before state governments begin to see a direct line between the $1 million that McDonald's and Burger King spend each year on advertising and their own swelling health care costs. And I'd say the industry is vulnerable. Fast food companies are marketing to children a product with proven health hazards and no warning labels. They would do well to protect themselves and their customers by providing the nutrition information people need to make informed choices about their products. Without such warnings, we'll see more sick, obese children and more angry, litigious parents. I say, let the deep fried chips fall where they may. Now, that's an interesting article from David Zinczenko called Don't Blame the Eater. My take on this is more so health than nutrition. Now, the interesting thing is the article focuses more on nutrition than health, in my opinion. So what do you think about the article? That's the question. Is the article more about health, or is the article more about nutrition? And as well, stay safe and see you later.